Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for watching my videos and thank you for your little remarks and suggestions. They are greatly appreciated. First of all, I am Hungarian and English is actually my third language because I was born in Germany. So to express myself in English is always a challenge because I want to be very, very accurate and this is something that I won't always be able to do, but I appreciate the fact that you are listening to me. Anyhow, today is the 2nd of December, so we are in the middle of this window of magic. I hope you saw the previous video, which was the sun on Antares, and that is opening the window for magic, actually, because Antares is one of the most important fixed stars because it's the heart of the celestial Scorpio. And the reason why it's unique is because it is both on the ecliptic and on the Milky Way. So it's at the crossroads of the human and the divine path. That is why it is also linked to magic, not to speak of the fact that it is one of the pillars of the Milky Way. And it's not the same as pillars of creation. Don't mix it up. There are 4 stars that are pillars of the Milky Way, and it's also a Persian royal star, or one of the royal stars of Persia, the Watcher of the West. And in karmic astrology, it is usually linked to a situation where you would like to do magic, and it's very, very hard to distinguish between black and white magic, because obviously it is much easier to do black magic because it has a bigger energy, and when you are mad or you are you are sad or you are angry, it's much easier to generate the energy necessary for magic. So why is this important for us? We are, as I said, today is the 2nd of December. We are in the middle of this window. The sun is still going to be aligned with Antares tomorrow, but on the 4th, it will make an exact trine to Chiron, the centaur of our karmic wounds and the wounded healer archetype. And in the meanwhile, it is going to an applying conjunction alignment with the so-called great attractor, which is at the moment, it is at 14 degrees Sagittarius. It is the central, well, we don't know what, of Laniakea, our galaxy cluster, which the Milky Way is also a part of. And when I said what not, we don't know actually what it is, because usually these structures, galaxies and galaxy clusters, have a supermassive black hole at their center. But this one is not a black hole. It is called by astronomers as a galactic anomaly. So they don't know what it is practically. It doesn't have an event horizon, which most, which black holes do. And it also gives out some sort of energy or matter on the other side. So it might be a combined black and white hole. We don't know. We don't know what it is. In karmic astrology, this galactic point is one of the 3 key celestial areas carrying, all these are carrying karmic dilemmas. This particular one carries the dilemma of fate and free will. And here we are at the topic of healing, because sometimes with healing, you don't have free will. If the issue has become too deep, we carried the problem, the pain for a very long time, we are unable to heal. Let's face it. I see this many, many times in my practice that people are actually moving into their own self-inflicted hell, and then they are unable to get out of them. And of course, they become ill. And there is always a moment when this person becomes very sad that he is terminally ill, but he doesn't know what to do about it. And on the 4th of December, you will get the potential to heal old, really deep wounds and anything that you need to heal. So let's take a look at the drawing itself. I did not have too much time, so this is not going to be a lengthy video. I'm just going to show you the energy pattern, the most important portions of the energy pattern of December the 4th. here you see the sun, and things are around 12 to 13, 14 degrees. Juno is more closing to 15, and of course Uranus, which is retrograde, is also around 15. So these are kind of a little bit out of the tight energy pattern, but I think they are relevant. So that's why I left them there. And as you can see, this is a beautiful planetary picture. You can actually find a number of engines. An engine is always a square, a trine, and a quincunx. There's also a kite, a beautiful water earth kite, at the anchor point of which is the North Node, our potential to fulfill our destiny, which in this particular time is to find security, harmony, some sort of monetary basis by which you can survive the power, what the powers that we want to push us into, which is probably going back to the Middle Ages. Eat whatever you find. Don't heat your homes. Don't use a mechanical vehicle. Walk. Carry your children to no school. Whatever. So it's ridiculous. But this is it. And of course, Uranus has been disrupting our harmony and well-being and security. And now the task is to create order and harmony in such a very disruptive and chaotic times. So that's the anchor point. And of course, the South Node on the other side shows us from where we can reach, where we can actually reach into to find the necessary knowledge, of course, from the past. And there is also, of course, the Juno-Astrea conjunction, which has been very tight. Now they are separating, so but it's still there. And of course, dark moon Lilith is also in the picture. And that's what kept me thinking, because I knew, of course, that the sun is making a quincunx to the North Node, a trine to Chiron, and a square actually to Astrea, which is the karma breaker, which is the destiny changer. So there's already this structure over there. But then, of course, the nodal axis has also moved in there, and actually dark moon Lilith entered the picture. So let's take a look at what our karmic wounds are doing. First of all, because Chiron is in Aries, and it will be in Aries for quite some time further. Actually, Aries, Chiron it takes 12 years. It takes 12 years for Chiron to transit Aries, which actually gives us the hint that most of our karmic wounds come from wars, aggression, blood, fire, violence, and anything linked to the dark side of Aries. But today, the sun infuses it with energy and consciousness. And the trine allows us to let go of these wounds. And the beautiful square also shows that Juno, our committed relationship significator, it's the partner, Juno represents the official wife, the official spouse, someone who is completely committed. And those are the relationships that cause the most wounds, really, because we lived in them for years or even decades, and a lot of wounds are accumulated through such relationships. But there's the karma breaker, which may help us overcome it. And then the dark moon represents the second turning point in the Lilith myth. If you want to know more, I have a series on the Liliths. You can watch it and understand what this means. But actually, it means the acceptance of the curse. When Lilith leaves the Garden of Eden and doesn't go back, and rather accepts Yahweh's curse upon her herself, but she won't comply. And this is a behavior pattern that women often find themselves in, because whenever the situation becomes unbearable and I walk away from it and I don't care who is going to threaten me or who is going to curse me, that's practically it. Now, there's a funny nature of curses. curses cannot be lifted by someone else. Curses have their separate lifespan. They can only be lifted by the person who cursed you. And that's the funny part, because most of the time when such a curse occurs, and if it's just a temporary thing, the utterer usually forgets about it. And this is how the curse diminishes, because it's not fed with further energy. So it simply dies out, it dies down, and slowly diminishes. But if someone keeps it up, if someone repeats the curse every day, because the person is jealous or wounded or something, that curse gets energy and it actually grows. So that's another reason why we have wounds. Here, both are wounded. Actually, the one who puts the curse on you, and you who are at the receiving end. So the wound here goes two ways. Let's take a look at what, just really briefly, what transcendental celestial objects are also included in the picture. As I said, on the sun, there's the great attractor. The dilemma is fate and free will. What is fated, and where we can exercise our free will. And there's always free will. Even in fated situations, you sometimes have free choice. And that's exactly what we can learn on the 4th of December. On the North Node, you have Albion. This is a creation figure in William Blake's creation myth. And he's some sort of Adam Kadmon figure who cuts himself into four, and thereby creating new aspects of mankind and also a new era. So our potential there is to create a brand new era. On Uranus, you have Euterpe and Gutenberg. I'm coming back to this, but before we do that, on Australia, you have Seneca, the Stoic thinker, and Nessus on Juno. Nessus is one of the psychopaths, one of the first official psychopaths. But the story is fascinating because it actually indicates the two most potent magical tools, semen and blood, and a third substance enters the picture because Nessus is killed by Hercules. He shoots him with an arrow that was previously sewed into the blood of the Hydra. And so you have deadly poison and the two most important tools of magic. And actually, yes, not only Nessus dies, but also Hercules, because the homespun clothing that his wife made him burns on him because of this substance. But as he has this eternal horrible pain, Hera, the arch enemy, forgives him and lifts him up and heals him and lifts him up to the Mount Olympus. So actually, it's black magic and healing and forgiveness and letting go, all mixed into the picture of Nessus. And Nessus is conjunct now, conjunct Juno, and will be also conjunct Australia very soon. On Chiron, you have Tisiphone, which is the goddess of offense and revenge. And that is again very, very revealing that our wounds are very often linked to revenge, to the negative emotions linked to revenge. And of course, you have Leila Kuhuna, which is the beautiful bird of the Hawaiian creation myth. And this bird represents the soul's desire to come down to the earth plane, to get into a physical body and to live a human life. So it's not the other way around. It's quite fascinating. And on the South Node, you have Requiem, which is another tool for the rites of passage, music, of course. And music is an uplifting vehicle or tool by which you can actually enter the higher dimensions. You can glimpse into the higher dimensions, and the the fact that Requiem is conjunct the South Node gives us the potential to let go things, to just close down things and not cry over spilled milk anymore, accept the losses, accept the fact that everything ends and everything needs to end in a way. And so we can lift this pain and suffering with the help of Requiem, with the help of the musical instrument of a rite of passage. And then you have this Mbaba Mvanavareza, which is a Zulu creation goddess, linked to the love and acceptance and honoring of nature, of natural forces. And if you look around today and see all these green agendas, which are all bullshit, let me tell you, I mean, there's no such thing as green energy. There's the green energy manufacturers who who invested a lot of money into the industry itself. And of course, it's not returning because it's 10 times more expensive than the not green energy like gas and oil. And so what they did was they had this war by which the energy prices went up. And of course, if you look at what Biden is doing in the United States, trying to stop the thing that America effectively runs on because of the green agenda. Because if it is much more expensive, no one will use it. If you raise the price of the old stuff, then everyone will start using the new stuff, but it's not green. Okay, there's nothing green in solar power panels and in wind turbines. Nothing, believe me. It costs a lot more to manufacture one, and it's deadly for the birds, and it has a horrible impact on the human body. But anyhow, instead of this green stupidity, we should really honor nature, and we should kind of try to live in accordance with nature. And that is what this particular TNO is trying to teach us. And now we are going to go back to Uranus and its two asteroids, Gutenberg and Euterpe, or Euterpe probably. I have no idea how to pronounce it, sorry. Anyhow, she was the muse of music. So again, we have a muse and we have music, which again is uplifting us to higher dimensions. And music has very, very strong healing properties. And Gutenberg, who was the inventor of the press, and by this, of course, it became possible to manufacture books on a large scale. And after 100 years or 1.5 centuries later, everyone could own a book, really. And yes, I love books, and I know I don't have it. I still don't have a tablet or a what do you call it, the Kindle, I think. I don't have these because I need to hold the books in my hand. I need to see the paper, smell the paper. But I also know that by this invention, mass media became possible, and mass manipulation became also possible, because the human nature is very gullible, and once you read something in a newspaper or read something in a book, you take it as face value and you think this is the truth. So actually it's a double-edged sword in many ways. Yes, it did a ton of good for mankind, but it also gave a horrible tool in the hands of the powers that be, by which they can manipulate us. So that's Uranus there. Now, let's take a look at some of the asteroids related to health and healing. These are by no means all, but the most important ones. I leave it here for a minute or so. You can copy them if you have an issue regarding healing or an issue regarding a health problem. These are the ones to look at. Besides Chiron and of course besides Hygeia, or I did put Hygeia there. I work with Hygeia, so to me it's not a special one, but depending on your astrological software, you might or might not have Hygeia. Anyhow, so these are the ones that I work with whenever I'm looking at the topic of health and healing. And I was curious whether any of these are cropping up on the 4th of December, and lo and behold, yes, they do. Panacea, which actually Panacea is the one of the daughters of Asclepius, the Greek demigod of healing. And Panacea, the name of Panacea means universal remedy. And this little object is at the degree of Altair, Alpha Aquila. And Altair is one of the shaman stars, which are actually lifting us up on a higher dimension, higher plane, in order to understand what needs to be healed and how. That's one thing. It's at the second degree of Aquarius at the moment. Reiki, Astero Reiki, is at 21 degrees Pisces on Neptune, which becomes stationary on the 4th of December. So there's a stationary Neptune denoting transcendence and universal love, and Reiki, the healing energy, is on it. And then Sirona, which is a Celtic goddess of healing, and she was the protector of springs, hot springs, is on Pluto. And Pluto is not just power, but also transformation. It's a profound transforming energy. I was laughing because, you know, it's really dark and gloomy and really cold. It's like 1 degree out there. So it's the snow is not keeping, but it may actually keep in higher regions in Hungary. This is the time when we start having the first snows, really. But anyhow, so go to a hot spa and enjoy its healing properties. And today, as I'm recording this video, the moon is still in Aries. And that's actually why I suggested to you that if you want to do any magic, then the 2nd of December, it may be the best, because we have the Aries moons, go-getter energy, this thing that I want something and I will do anything or everything in my power to reach it. So it gives you this drive instead of the Hashi-Mashi Neptune ruled Pisces moon. So this is the stronger one if you really want to carry some authority in your magical work. But on the when we look at the 4th of December, when the sun is nearing the great attractor and also Trine in Chiron, by then the moon will move into Taurus. And around 11 p.m. London time, which is midnight in Central Europe, for instance, in Paris or in Prague or in Budapest or in Bucharest, it will be midnight. The moon will reach the asteroid Imhotep at 6.5 degrees Taurus. And Imhotep was a polymath. He was a healer, a physician. He created instruments. He created healing regimen and procedures. But he was also an architect. And this is a picture of his stele, which this was taken in Komombo. I took the picture. I apologize. I'm not a very good photographer, but I just wanted to use my own picture for this particular video. So the whole of the 4th of December really emanates healing energy, and we badly need it. The whole world badly needs it. So utilize it in good health and have good health. And thank you for listening. Bye-bye.